Oh, hello there, Silence. I'm gonna try to get a start on this cover pretty soon. Got any questions, just feel free to ask. This is gonna be the cover for not issue, volume 4. Notice that a lot of comics always have like out what I want to do. I'm keeping all the text where it is because this gives me a good idea of where I can work. Let's go to the pencil tool. Hello, Comic Society. Just starting on this cover. Trying to see the symmetry tool set up, because this is going to be like a close-up of one of the characters that's going to be showing up, and it's going to be predominant in this volume. Now, I tend to be pretty quick when I draw. Hello, Mo Baker. If you're wondering just how my voice actually is, I'm not trying to sound like anything else. Pretty much got the head where I want it. Just gotta make sure everything kind of falls within the safe parameter. So that gives me a good idea. So now I'm gonna turn off this text so I can see exactly what I'm doing. A lot of this is probably going to get cut off, but no, I'm not liking that. It's too small. Should be bigger. Symmetry tool is really great. Just an idea that I had. Hello, Negative. Hello, Julio. Hello, Joseph. Let me see. Kind of debating if I want to keep it like this. I think I went too big. I went a little bit more detail. This is one of the things I think anybody who draws comics runs into. Like, you have a good idea of what you want to do. Executing it, that's another story. You guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll try to answer them timely. No promises. Once I kind of get into once I kind of get into a groove of what I'm doing, I tend to forget everything else. Yeah, this is kind of bugging me. It's not how I envisioned it the first time, so I'm probably gonna do it over. That's one of the things I like about digital. You can just figure out how you want to do things and not worry about ruining the paper. So I'm just gonna go really rough right now. I'm not gonna go into any crazy details. Because my initial idea for this was just to have the entire face and kind of like a reflection off the plate, because it's like a face plate that they have, but it wasn't fitting the way I wanted to. I'm not like a super detailed artist. I have clean lines, but I don't. I have clean, tight lines, but I'm not super detailed. Why? Basically, because I have to draw everything myself over and over again. And you want to kind of keep it simplified. So I'm debating with this one. I'm not liking it either. Take that off. I don't want to burn my resources on this computer. Let's see. Let me start from this. I do want it in a sense like the guy's kind of hunching over. Let's see. Alright, I think this might work a bit. Alright, let me go to different color for this. Make the pencil slightly bigger. Using the mechanical pencil in Clip Studio. It's kind of funny that I did 3 other lives before this. Hello to everybody who just popped in. I did 3 lives before, but it was just pretty much me with my webcam focused on my tablet, the Wacom tablet, and just kind of just drawing. What I didn't know was that I could have just done this type of setup and not have to do the three video policy in order to do a dual screen, because I thought I needed to do a dual screen setup for this. Oh, you live and learn. That's what I always say. I always make mistakes. This is kind of close to what I was looking for. This is what I kind of mean. I tend to pencil really fast, especially with the symmetry tool. It's all set up. So now I'm gonna go right into inking. I wasn't expecting to do the inks so soon, but might as well. And really can't see it, so I'm gonna move my, let's see what I got here. Well, I'm kind of blocking the layers with my camera image, so sorry about that. But basically right around here I have my layers, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a new one. It's gonna be for inking. Pretty much just call it inks. Tend to use the G Pen for that. And let's see if I can get a clear shot. This is the Wacom tab. This is really great thing to use when you're working on a Wacom, if you don't want to be constantly doing keyboard strokes and having to memorize all the shortcuts. 4 programmable buttons you can do for different settings, and I have basically right now 2 settings set up. First setting is primarily for just like drawing and inking. The other one is for when I do colors, and I have like different brushes and like other things set up on the second setting. So hello to everybody else who just popped in. So So let me see. Let me get right into the inks. Obviously, going to use black inks. And in case you didn't know it, on the Clip Studio, you can take whatever ruler you're using on one layer and bring it up to the other one. Now, I have two options here. I can freehand this, or I can just make it look really, really nice using the line tools that we have. I'm going to try out the line tools first, or the shape tools, whatever you want to call them. Since this is for a cover, I do want the lines to be a bit thicker than what I usually work with on the actual comic pages. So let's see. So 25. One thing I forgot to do, lower the opacity on the pencils and actually get on my ink layer. I was already on the pencil layer. So that's not too bad. Here, I'm using the curved one because I want this to be curving around the helmet and the faceplate. Again, I'm using a symmetry ruler. Let's get a little bit thinner for this area right here. Give it three-dimensionality. Now, is using the symmetry tool cheating? I don't think so. It saves a lot of time. It makes everything look so much nicer, especially if it's something that's like head on. So perfectly symmetry, even though humans aren't naturally symmetrical. We do have some asymmetry. So I'll fix that little gap using the actual pen tool. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. Probably won't even notice that in the actual printed cover. Hello to everybody who just popped in. I do apologize if I'm not calling out names. So that once I kind of get really focused, I tend to forget that I should be a gracious host. Now, I'm not going to be too stuck on the initial lines I did, because sometimes when I'm inking, I'll notice that I could have given it better shape. I mean, that's not too bad for the head part. So everything he's wearing is basically machinery. So, well, not machinery, but it's like tactical type of armor. All that clicking you're hearing is from the Wacom tab. And again, because I'm on symmetry ruler, I can really just focus on one side. Make sure everything is right here. Do love this type of curve line. Gives a nice. Oops. I gotta admit, that's the one thing I don't like about this. It has a little scroll wheel right here. It's really sensitive. I mean, very, very sensitive. to the point that sometimes when I'm trying to zoom in and zoom out, it just gets like a mind of its own, and I have absolutely like no control about what's happening. Alright, this is going to be a hard thing to do right here. So let me get this part done first. There we go. Nah, I'm not liking that too much. So what I'm going to do, take off the ruler for now. Come around here. And that works nice. Turn it back on. Kind of messed up there a little bit. Keep that like that. Welcome to everybody who just popped in. If you guys have anybody who's into comic art and they want to see this process, please invite them so they can check this out. Let's see what I got here. Now I focus using the line tools just for like all the armor pieces, so that way it's easier. It looks more uniform. It looks nicer. But now that I'm getting into what is like the clothing part, I'm just going to use like the normal G pen. Let's see. Here I can be a little bit more sketchy. Add in some stuff right there. Okay, I'm going to get back into the line tool because I forgot to add some stuff over here. Again, this is just to kind of give it three-dimensionality, give it some weight. Kind of got to be careful. Actually, gotta turn this ruler off again. If you guys hear a lot of noise in the background, I do live in a noisy area. I'm near a couple of main streets, so there's always cars going by. Let's see what we got on this side. Everything's looking good. Okay. Still gotta do something in the back. Almost forgot about that. Turn on this tool again. Let's see. Let's make it a little bit more naturally curved. Actually, no, let's stick with the curve tool. I was about to do something else, but I think it'll be better. Curving it out. Use the pen. Close up some of these little openings that are around. separate layer for what you see back here, like these holes kind of things. I'm gonna see. They do have a lasso fill, but I don't want to use that because it's just gonna fill it with, it'll be completely black, and I want it to be a different kind of what I'm looking for. I want to give it a different type of feel that's in the comic, because in the actual volume 4, when you see this character, the hoses are black, and then when they're activated to the backpack that you see right here, it has white rings that are showing that it's glowing. But for this, I'm debating how I want to do this. If I want to just draw it freehand so it looks more natural, or use the lasso fill, but I gotta see. Let me think. Lasso fill. Alright, I'm trying to see what I can do. Alright, let's take a look first. Let's not debate too much, and let's take a look. Okay, it's going to be filled that way. So definitely use the curve tool. I'm going to go with a thicker line for this. See how this works. Okay, not great. Let's put it back to 30. Let's check continuous curve. Alright, continuous curve, not too bad. So that's not too bad. I'm going to try to see if I can make it better. Oh, and just like the second time, I forget that when I shift my symmetry ruler to a new layer, I gotta make sure I'm active on that layer, which I wasn't. Let's see. Wasn't too crazy about that. Made the lines too thin. Let's try. There we go. Alright, that's not too bad. I never try to make anything like too perfect, because it's kind of ridiculous trying to strive for too much perfection. But it should be close. It should match what you're trying to look, what it's trying to look like. Let's see. Alright, it doesn't look too bad. I might fix it a little bit later on. That's why I tend to do things on a lot of separate layers. If something doesn't work out, you can always go back and fix it. So make sure I call this the right thing. Let's turn off the pencils to see what this looks like. Alright, so that's pretty much the idea for the cover. That's just the line work itself. I don't go too crazy trying to add in a lot of shadows, add in like a lot of cross hatching and stuff like that. That's just never been my thing. I've tried it, I've just never been good at it. And I like lines to be clean. That's my main thing. I like clean lines. A good artist, I can say, like David Finch. He's drawn for DC. He's drawn for Marvel. He's probably done some independent stuff. Very good artist, but over renders. Like too much cross hatching, too much shadowing, especially on the male characters. And if you see when he draws the female characters, it's not as much. Like he keeps them really very like smooth and clean looking, while the guys look like they have like a constant shadow hitting, like a light hitting them in different directions, and it's like really harsh lighting. So I'm thinking of something right now for this. So I'm debating on something. I know there's supposed to be like a reddish orange light coming from in front of him that's reflecting on him. So that's why I'm kind of thinking about where I should add in probably a layer of some type of shadowing. And then I'm trying to also remember what type or what color the armor might be. So these are things that I'm like processing right now and trying to think like how that's gonna work. So while I am thinking about that, let me talk to you about my comic. Let me see if you guys can see this really good. It says Psychic Revolution. It's volume 1. Yeah, please forgive the chroma key kind of thing. It's like messing up the cover a bit, but you can always go to my bio and you can see the cover yourself. And this is basically 16 pages of manga inspired comic art. I got some extras in the back that kind of talk about the creation of this comic, and also you're gonna see my very first pages that I drew for it years ago, because this comic has been, I think, about 10 years in the making. So hopefully if you guys decide after this live to go to the shop, pick up your own copy. If you do, chroma key is all messed up on this thing, but right there, that's the sticker. That's the Bleeding In Comics logo. It'll be part of what comes with the book. And what I think is the best thing, let's see, these are personalized sketches. A pencil sketch and an ink sketch comes with each one. Now, what about the thing that makes it special is that no two are the same. So whichever one you get with the book that you order, that one is uniquely yours. Nobody else is going to have it. And I have a couple of them here that I already made for any orders that might come up. But because this chroma key is kind of weird, I don't know how to angle it. So that's another one. And I don't want to really show you the ink ones, because I like them so much that I feel like I'll spoil it by showing you. That's why I don't mind showing the pencil. But I really like how the ink ones came out. I already sold a few of these. This one right here is probably one of my favorite ones from another one that I did. And that's what you guys get if you order my book. I have volume 2 in pre-production right now. I'm just waiting to get the proof, see how everything is, how everything turns out. If it's really good and everything's the way I like it, it'll be sent to print right away, and it'll be also available on the shop. I'm really hoping to get this by like Black Friday. If not, it really will be ready by Christmas. And that way you can get copies for yourself, or you have somebody in your family that's a fan of comic books and they want to read something new. This is the book for them. Just to give you a little bit of background on Psychic Revolution, it is heavily inspired by the X-Men from the 90s, X 1999 from Clamp, and one of my favorite manga series of all time, Saint Seiya. Those three things were really big influence for that book. And if you are a fan of those series, once you read this, you're going to see the influences on them. So I'm going to pretty much stop right here, because I got to debate what colors I'm going to use for this. I just know that there's going to be warm colors coming right around the front. It's going to be reflected off the visor, right off the helmet and all the armor pieces. But I'm still trying to figure out like what color the clothing is going to be and what color the armor is going to be. I know for a fact this part right here, the hoses, they're going to have a warm color to them too, but also it's going to be glowing out just to show that it's activated. I don't want to give away too much about this character, but they do play a very important role in Volume 4 of Psychic Revolution. So everybody, thank you for joining me. Hope you guys share this with anybody who's into independent comics, especially if they're into the X-Men, Clamp 1999, and Saint Seiya. You're going to see all those influences here. Everybody have a good night.